The DJI Mini 4 Pro has just received its most impressive firmware update yet, and it is already making waves in the drone community. At Amazing Tech Trends, we've taken a deep dive into the update, and it's safe to say this is not a minor change. The update introduces major new capabilities, brings long-awaited controller compatibility, and smooths out some of the more technical aspects that seasoned pilots have been waiting for. The update number may look like a typical incremental release, but don't be fooled. This firmware brings a substantial transformation in how the Mini 4 Pro functions. DJI has not only optimized internal processes but has also enabled support for the highly anticipated RC Pro 2 controller. For those unfamiliar with it, the RC Pro 2 is DJI's flagship-level controller, providing ultra-bright display quality, fast processor performance, and an improved signal strength experience. As soon as we powered on the Mini 4 Pro and completed the firmware installation, the changes were immediately noticeable. Menu transitions became smoother, the gimbal response felt tighter, and overall latency seemed reduced, especially when using the new RC Pro 2 controller. It's evident DJI didn't just patch bugs, they've refined the entire experience. Another big win in this update is the improved stability across various flight modes. If you've previously had issues with occasional drift, hesitation in the obstacle avoidance system, or inconsistent subject tracking in active track mode, those issues are much less frequent now. DJI has clearly been listening to feedback and tweaking how their AI flight algorithms behave. One of the more subtle yet highly appreciated enhancements is in how the Mini 4 Pro handles dynamic range during video capture. While this wasn't a headline feature in the firmware notes, we noticed significantly better exposure control, especially when flying during golden hour or against tricky lighting conditions like shadows and sunlight transitions. The image sensor is now working more harmoniously with the software, making post-editing easier and cleaner. DJI has also introduced smarter battery management. Previously, users reported minor inaccuracies in battery readings during long flights or when returning to home. Post-update, the battery indicator feels more responsive and reliable. It recalibrates more consistently and gives pilots more trust in the flight data being displayed mid-air. This kind of refinement helps prevent unnecessary return-to-home triggers and makes missions smoother. GPS connectivity also received a quiet upgrade. Acquisition times feel faster, and satellite locks are more robust in traditionally difficult areas like wooded landscapes or urban parks. The drone maintains positional hold more confidently, and you'll feel the benefits especially when hovering or executing complex flight patterns that require stable GPS data. Now, let's talk about the RC Pro 2 integration. This is where the Mini 4 Pro truly levels up. The RC Pro 2 is a powerhouse controller, originally reserved for DJI's higher-tier drones. Now, with full support enabled, Mini 4 Pro pilots get access to a buttery smooth display with 1000 nits of brightness, ideal for daylight flying. It also brings in faster processing power that reduces transmission lag and makes everything from gimbal movement to camera setting changes more immediate. With built-in app flexibility and 32 gigabytes of onboard storage, it offers a true pro-level control experience. Flight time optimization was another hidden gem in this update. DJI seems to have adjusted the way power is allocated during certain modes, such as Sport and Cine. In Cine mode, especially, the motors now appear to run more efficiently, slightly extending air time without compromising the smoothness that's essential for cinematic capture. Security has also been stepped up. DJI quietly improved the geofencing system to better alert users in sensitive airspace. It's more intuitive, sends notifications earlier, and allows pilots to plan ahead more effectively. These preemptive changes can make a major difference in how a shoot is approached, especially in busy or restricted areas. The update also strengthens quick transfer speeds when downloading footage from the Mini 4 Pro to your mobile device. DJI has fine-tuned the Wi-Fi transfer protocols, and in our testing, file transfers felt almost twice as fast when pulling down 4K clips from the drone. This might seem like a small change, but for those who shoot a lot and need quick edits on the go, it's a huge time saver. One area that wasn't as obviously highlighted but did change was in obstacle avoidance. We tested the Mini 4 Pro in dense environments, including tree-lined trails and obstacle-rich urban spaces. The new firmware helps the drone read its surroundings faster, and with improved predictive pathing, We noticed fewer hesitations and more fluid obstacle avoidance, particularly when using Follow Me or subject tracking features. Sound optimization is also apparent. Though not official, the motors on the Mini 4 Pro seem quieter after the update, or perhaps the tone has changed due to firmware tuning. In quieter environments, this might be beneficial for wildlife photography or filming in locations where low noise is preferred. Another tweak that we're incredibly happy with is the enhanced boot-up time. From power on to takeoff readiness, everything is snappier. Firmware updates often slow things down due to background processes and checks, but DJI's engineers have clearly done their homework to optimize this update without bloating system operations. App-side improvements are also worth mentioning. With the latest DJI Fly app version, you get tighter integration with the drone, better telemetry display, and some subtle UI polish that improves the user experience. It now feels more professional, closer in feel to what we'd expect from flagship drones, which shows DJI's intent to treat the Mini 4 Pro as more than just a lightweight consumer toy. Finally, this update sets the stage for future improvements. DJI has always been strategic with their firmware releases, and based on what we've seen, this latest update acts like a foundation. With RC Pro 2 now in the ecosystem and Mini 4 Pro performing at new heights, we suspect even more advanced features will trickle down in the next few months, possibly unlocking more from the sensor or introducing creative modes like asteroid or boomerang that are still reserved for bigger drones. So what's the bottom line? If you own the DJI Mini 4 Pro, this update is absolutely essential. It fundamentally elevates the flight experience. From controller compatibility to video quality improvements, smarter power management, and better in-air stability, everything has been touched in some way. This is no small patch, it's a transformation. And if you've been on the fence about the Mini 4 Pro, this update makes it even more compelling. With the RC Pro 2 now in the mix, it's clear that DJI is no longer segmenting features strictly by drone size or price tier. Performance, control, and capability are now becoming accessible across the board. Here at Amazing Tech Trends, we'll keep monitoring future firmware developments and dive deep into what they mean for real-world usage. For now, get your drone updated, take it for a flight, and experience this massive leap forward for yourself. Trust us, you'll feel the difference the moment you launch.